From a defensive perspective, you guys go against Jaden. You guys know Jaden as well as anybody. What makes him so hard to bring down when he's on the move?
When he's on the move?
Yeah, like when he's scrambling. I mean, he can force so many missed tackles.
Well,
What
because
makes him?
he's really fast. Like he's probably one of the faster guys on the team, and so as you're taking an angle, if you take an angle to actually go get him, he has a one-step cut where he can get vertical really quick. And so if you don't have multiple bodies going at him, if he sees one person, like they talk about Kobe in basketball, he was never worried about the first defender. He was worried about the help side and what's coming at him. That's where Jaden's eyes are when he's running. He's not worried about you tackling him. He's not going to tackle me. All right, now how do I beat him and make sure that this guy doesn't get me? That's what he does. And so he's hard. In practice, I always say, we don't run him in practice because we can't hit him. So, you're giving them 15 yards on a run in practice. Well, we can't even get close to him, so it's not even fair. But he makes us look the same way in practice, yes.
What does David Blau bring to the quarterback's room? How does he help you?
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. He's one of the smartest quarterbacks I've ever been around. I just had him a little bit in Arizona, and he picked up the offense in like 5 days, and we had him starting a couple of days later and executed at a really high level. And I was just his kind of steady habits, how he interacted with other players, how he communicated with coaches. I always thought like this guy would be a phenomenal coach, and his experience with the young quarterbacks, being so young and so recently a part of the game, I think that carries a lot of weight with those guys. Like he can share his experiences, a guy who maximized everything he was to get where he's at, and it hits home. And so he's been a great voice in that room. And then for me, some of the blind spots I have or Tavita has, having just come out of that role as a backup or having started games, it just carries a lot of weight when he speaks.
Moving on to the injury report, starting with the good guys. The Commanders have a lot of DNPs on here. Let's start at the top. So yesterday we did not have practice because it was Christmas. By the way, hope you guys had a blessed Christmas. I did. It was a great Christmas for me, and I hope y'all had the same. But yeah, we have a lot of DNPs on here, and yesterday we did not practice because it was Christmas. So we had a light practice / walkthrough on Tuesday, which was Christmas Eve. So yesterday was kind of a projection on who would have practiced and who would have not practiced. And yesterday, De'Ami Brown, Marshawn Lattimore, Jordan McGee, Tyler Owens, Andrew Wiley, Cleveland Farrell, and Zach Ertz and Terry McLaurin would have not practiced yesterday. As for today, the guys who did not practice, De'Ami Brown, Marshawn Lattimore, and Jordan McGee, all three of them are dealing with a hamstring injury. They did not practice today, which is not great to see. De'Ami Brown, I thought he had a really good game versus the Eagles. He had that deep bomb, which set us up pretty well last week versus the Eagles. So he provides us with vertical speed threat. He is an option for Jaden if he wants to go deep. That's the second deep bomb he's hit with Jaden all year long. The first one came against the Browns. Obviously, the second one last week versus Philly. So he gives Jaden that, deep bomb receiver, and he went down with the injury last week versus Philly, and I'm not sure if he returned. I want to say he didn't, but yeah, second straight day he didn't practice. Like I said, yesterday was a projection or an estimation, but hamstring injuries are very tricky, and if I had to guess, he's probably not going to play this week, which would suck. It is a good thing that we have KJ Osborne though, and he will probably make his Washington debut this week versus the Falcons. And then Marshawn Lattimore, he went down with a hamstring injury versus the Eagles last week. He did not play the rest of the game, the rest of the 10 snaps on defense, which, very unfortunate. And we obviously know that Marshawn Lattimore, he missed all that time due to the hamstring injury. So I really hope that he didn't re-aggravate the hamstring injury. If I had to guess, he probably did, which would absolutely suck. That would be unfortunate. If I had to guess, he's probably not going to play this week versus the Falcons. Didn't practice yesterday. Again, estimation, but still, he didn't return last week versus the Eagles. He had to go to the tent, and it isn't looking good for him in terms of his status on Sunday or for this week versus the Falcons. And then Jordan McGee, hamstring injury, didn't practice again today. He's been really good for us on special teams as of lately, and he's been getting more and more snaps on defense. I'm pretty sure he got maybe 10 on Sunday versus Philly. So he was getting more and more, go time with the first team unit, with the starting defense. And it sucks that, he's down with a hamstring injury. So 3 guys dealing with hamstring injuries. Hamstring injuries, soft tissue injuries are always very tricky to deal with. And I feel like because he's dealing with a hamstring injury right now, McGee will most likely be out for Sunday's game versus the Falcons, which, would suck for special teams. Marcus Mariota, he didn't practice today because of a personal reason, so he's going to be fine. Tyler Owens, he is honestly our best special teamer right now, and he's dealing with an ankle injury. Didn't practice yesterday, estimation, and he didn't practice today when we had a real practice. So that is very unfortunate because Tyler Owens, he was a dog versus Philly on Sunday. He was making some really nice tackles versus Philly on special teams. He had a forced fumble versus the Titans in week 13, and that set us up in really good field position. And he also had a really good game versus Saints. So he's been really good as of lately, really all season long on special teams, but as of lately, he's been very, very good on special teams. So losing arguably our best special teamers or special team player at the moment would definitely suck. So if I had to guess, though, he's probably not going to play a second straight day that he was a DNP. So hopefully he can maybe practice tomorrow. But if I had to guess, he's probably not going to be available for Sunday's game versus the Falcons. And then Andrew Wiley, he's dealing with a groin injury. Didn't practice for a second straight day in a row. If I had to guess, he's not going to play either. I'm not tripping over Wiley being out or potentially being out because we have Cornelius Lucas, who's a really good swing tackle, backup tackle, and he is very reliable, and we trust him. I trust him. The fans trust him to come in and, play well. Even some fans, or a good amount of fans, have been arguing that Cornelius Lucas should be in over Brandon Coleman or Andrew Wiley at left tackle or right tackle. I wouldn't mind that, right? I definitely wouldn't mind that. I feel like Cornelius Lucas is a better left tackle than Brandon Coleman, and he will most likely be our starting right tackle this week with Andrew Wiley potentially being out. We'll see if he goes tomorrow, maybe limited tomorrow, but if I had to guess, he's most likely not going to be available for the Falcons game on Sunday. Terry, he's dealing with an ankle injury. He's going to be fine. He didn't practice yesterday, or he wouldn't have practiced yesterday, but he did have practice today. Well, he did practice today, and he was a limited participant today. Terry's going to be fine. He's going to be a go for Sunday's game, most likely. Jonathan Allen, pectoral, obviously he's still on IR, but he has been a full participant over the past 2 days, which includes today. So all's trending right with John Allen, which is really nice to see. If I had to guess, he's going to play on Sunday. Joe Wood Jr. did say that if he does play on Sunday, then he'll most likely be on a snap count, so it won't get a whole lot of snaps. However, it's going to be really nice to have him back because I definitely think that Jonathan Allen, look, say whatever you want about him, I think he can help us in the run game a little bit. Like, he was our best run-stopping defensive tackle before he got injured, and I feel like he can help us a bit in that game. And then Zach Ertz, who's dealing with a shoulder injury, and Dante Fowler Jr., who's dealing with a groin injury. Both guys were full participants today, so both guys should be good to go for Sunday's game versus the Falcons. And then as for the Falcons, all but 2 guys on here will probably play on Sunday. The only 2 guys that won't be playing most likely are Kevin King. He's dealing with a concussion. He's probably in concussion protocol right now. He's probably not going to play. And then Antonio Hamilton Sr., he's dealing with a quad injury. He's probably not going to play as well. But everybody else you see on here, like Zach Harrison, Drake London, Casey Werner, they're all going to play. They were either limited or full today, so I expect those guys to be good to go for Sunday's game. So that is it for the injury report. That is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.